Hi, I'm Matt with Mainstreet Medina, and welcome to another edition of Medina Minute. Today we're here at the historic Farmers Exchange in Southtown, and we're going to meet some faces and some friends from around town. Come on in and join me. Good morning. Today we're here with Dave Edmonds, local author and man about town. Dave, thanks so much for joining us here in Southtown. Tell me first, how long have you been in Medina? What's your association with the city?
Well, when we were first married, we couldn't afford any place in Cuyahoga County, so we ended up moving down to Medina. That's so long ago that was actually a reasonable thing to do. It was. Who knew? I was teaching in Strongsville, and I couldn't afford a house in Strongsville, so we came down here.
Okay.
I'm in my third house now.
Yeah.
We had a little tiny house on Bradway, then went to a Ryan home like everybody else, and then we, on a whim, we bought a Century home.
Yeah.
So we're on South Court Street.
Oh, very cool. So you were a teacher. I didn't know that.
Teacher. I taught for 43 years.
Really? What was your subject?
I was mostly a German teacher. I taught some English.
Okay, so that explains why in some test you sounded German.
Yes, and I pronounced your name is Wiederholt.
Yeah.
Mostly I was 29 years in Strongsville.
Yeah. So you've been here
since
decades.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What is it about this town that you love?
Well,
besides it was affordable at that time.
It was affordable at that time, and I'm sure it has now, but that's not the point. We rented after we were married in Berea, and Berea is a nice little small town. It's got a square. It's got a reason for being there, and it's got the college. It had a personality. I knew I didn't want to live in a suburb, even if I could have afforded it.
Yeah.
So we came down here because we got a downtown, and now I lived in Cleveland Heights. So I didn't know anything on this side of the Cuyahoga. I didn't know Medina from any place.
You were an East Sider.
Oh yeah. So when we came down here, I fell in love with the place.
Yeah.
There's a reason to be here. The square just knocks me out. If I would sell my house, I'd like to live in an apartment downtown. I think it's really cool. Yeah.
What is it? I know that you and your wife walk up to the square fairly often, or at least walk around the square. I don't know if you walk up there. What is it about the square that you love? Is there a certain building or business that just captivates you?
Yeah, it's wine.
Wine,
the wine bar, yeah.
Okay.
I've never been to a wine bar years ago. There was one in Rocky River, and we drive up there, and you could have one glass of wine because of the long ride back. When that opened here, H2 opened here, I thought, this is great.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the architecture is just wonderful, and I really like the fact that the new buildings they're building look like their old buildings. I think that's really smart. I think that's great. I wish the downtown were about 6 or 8 blocks bigger. That's all.
We're working on it here in Southtown.
I know it. So this is cool. Yeah.
What is it? So the wine bar. What's your drink of choice? Are you a dry red, sweet white?
No, I'm a Pinot Noir guy.
All right.
I like the Noir because it gives me a sense of danger. You know, and I feel like kind of a bad guy when I'm drinking it.
So kind of that it was a dark and stormy night in the middle of Medina.
And suddenly a shot rang out.
There you go.
Yeah.
which sounds like the introduction to a book, which leads me to my next question.
Good.
So you retired as a teacher.
Yep.
What was the transition to becoming an author?
Well, I retired twice. I retired once in 2000, and I was burned out.
Yeah.
So my therapy was I sat down and wrote.
Oh, nice.
About 10 years before I retired, I started writing short stories. And they were narratives about what happens in a high school.
Okay.
And the more I wrote them, the more they turned into essays.
Yeah.
And the more they turned into, I was wronged, and I didn't like the way they treated teachers, and all my gripes. So that was like in 1990. When I retired in 2000, I sat down and turned the stories into novels. I wrote, in about 3 years, I wrote 4 or 5 novels.
Yeah.
And I was so arrogant and stupid at the time that I thought once I wrote the end, it was done. And I kept looking out in the front porch for the Brinks truck bringing the money.
Sure. Yeah.
I was too. Anyway, so I did a lot of writing. That made me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
I learned a whole lot of stuff about writing, and then I got the itch again, and I started teaching a German class at Tri-C, And then I started teaching a German class at Cleveland State.
Okay.
And I was depressed that it was so easy to teach in college because there's no time to do anything, so you just lecture and don't give a darn. So in 2007, I was home having lunch with Marie. She came home from work and the phone rang, and it was the principal of Copley High School.
Yeah.
I didn't know him from third base. Didn't know where Copley was, to tell you the truth. And he said, "Are you Dave Edmonds? Do you teach German?" I said, "Well, I used to." He said, "Do you want to teach?" I said, "Yeah, I teach part-time." He said, "Nah, got a full-time job. Come on over."
Oh my gosh.
So I walked in the door. He convinced me after about 15 seconds that I'd missed it so much I wanted to come back. I taught 5 levels of German, including AP, which I'd never done before.
Yeah.
And I just loved it.
Really?
I said I'd stay 2 years, I stayed 7.
What was so different the second time around in the high school setting?
In simple terms, Matt, they appreciated the fact that I was a teacher.
Okay.
They appreciated the fact that we have a common goal, and that's ignorance. Let's all work together. I felt in Strongsville, which is the fictional high school here,
Yeah.
that we were on different sides.
Okay.
Teachers
Interesting.
and administrators were not in the same. Were surely not in the same side.
Yeah.
And the only loser in that is the kids.
Right.
So
In your books, is there a through character, or is each one separate stories?
yeah. Well, in the short stories, they were obviously me. I never named the main character.
Yeah.
He just reflected on things he saw. I turned that into a generic person, Joe Lehrer. Joe from the Charlie Brown things, Joe Sports, Joe Cool.
Yeah.
And Lehrer is a German word for teacher. So I just
Okay.
did that, and I cheated. I set them in the school because I knew how a school smells. I knew what happens.
Yeah.
I knew what it looks like. I knew what the values were. So I figured it would be easier because I didn't have to start from scratch.
Sure. Now, you've had some good success. I don't know, has the Brinks truck pulled up yet in front of the house?
Well, Matt, I'm still writing.
Okay. But you've gone on several book tours, or you've done book
Oh
signings.
yeah. The first book, the one that came out in 17, I had the over the course of a couple of years, I sold some books. I learned how to do some stuff.
Yeah.
The second book came out last September, and to tell you the truth, I'm getting killed because I haven't been able to do signings. All I could do
Yeah.
is sell online, and the online sales have been fine, but they haven't been anywhere near
Sure.
what I want to do. So I'm so looking forward to getting back out in front of people.
Yeah. Do you self-publish, or do you work with a local publisher?
No. Well, I tried all those books I wrote in the 2000, 2003. I couldn't get a publisher. So when I came back to it, when I retired the second time in 2007, I incorporated. I
Okay.
made myself a publishing company. And it's so darn easy now to publish. This book cost me,
Just click send and it goes somewhere and they print it?
that's darn near the whole thing.
Really?
This one cost $89 to publish on Amazon. This one costs Zippo.
Oh, wow,
They've changed
nice.
it around.
Yeah.
So that's the good news. The good news is it's really easy for me to get in print. It looks like a book. They look like I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I got an ISBN number. It says publishing company on the back. It doesn't look homemade.
No, it looks legit.
Yeah. The bad news is it's me doing it on my own.
Sure.
So where I don't have a publishing house pitching it for me.
Backing you and everything.
Yeah. And going on the tours. You said book signing tours. Yeah, I went to my one sister-in-law and went to her 2 book clubs. I went to the other sister-in-law, went to a third sister-in-law. So in all these different states. So it was like a book tour.
So you're touring. It's fair to say. That goes in the bio.
Yeah, and I'm laughing about it. But the point is, I like talking to people about books.
Yeah.
And these 2 books, anyways, get me into talking about schools, which is what I really want to talk about anyway.
Sure. So you've gotten to go to the in-laws, travel.
That's pretty much it.
What would be your dream trip? Like if you and Marie were able to take off and go someplace awesome, where would be your favorite place to go?
Well, we were going to go back to Europe and take another Viking river cruise.
Really?
We took one of those a couple of years ago, and I'll tell you what, it's easy, especially at my age. You don't unpack. You have a stateroom, and you go from a downtown to a downtown, so there's none of that traveling in between.
Okay.
They organize tours, and Matt, I got to tell you, every time you walk on or off the boat, somebody's handing you a drink.
Right.
I mean, it's like,
Let's go, Dave.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we were going to go to the south of France, 2 years ago, and that died.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to go this summer, but I would imagine in 2022 we'd get back over there somehow.
Yeah. When you do that, would you go on a wine tour, or would that be a big part of your
Well,
trip?
the south part of France, I understand they do wine there. We went down the Rhine before, so we had Rhine wine.
Okay.
And that was terrific. Man, it's such an easy way to travel.
Yeah. No, that's not. I've never been on a cruise. Something about being away from land kind of freaks me
Well,
out.
okay, this is a river.
So you can see the bank.
Oh, all the time.
Okay,
And some
I'd be
places
okay
not any
with that.
wider than South Court Street.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not like a cruise. There's like 80 people on the boat.
Oh, okay.
This is not like
can
one of
handle
those
that.
things like 8,000 people.
Yeah.
So by Tuesday on a trip, you know all the wait staff because, you know,
So few.
it's so few. Oh yeah, I can't
Yeah.
recommend it more highly.
All right. What when you're not teaching, when you're not writing, when you're not drinking? I don't know if you have any spare
There's not much time.
But what do you do? What do you do for fun?
Well, for fun, I play golf.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that golf is fun. Golf is a recreation,
Yeah.
which means that I have to invest myself in it, and I have to recreate myself every time because I forget how to swing the club. But
Are you any good?
no,
Okay.
no, but I have good days.
Yeah.
I have good holes.
It's just fun to get out.
Yeah, so I end up being mediocre. So that's okay as long as I'm competitive and I enjoy the people I'm with. That's all right. And the worst thing is when I take the club back, there's 3 or 4 voices telling me what to do next. And if
Okay.
I can get that down to one voice, I can hit it.
Nice.
But if we're having a nice discussion while I'm trying to figure out what to do with the club. So.
Do you have a favorite course here or a favorite
Oh,
place?
I'm in a league, a St. Francis Golf League, and we play at Ridgetop, so I play there a lot.
All right, very cool.
So, yeah.
So what else? Do you have any hobbies? Do you collect anything?
Now that I'm a grandfather of 7,
Oh my gosh.
I'm in charge of Legos.
Okay.
Lego construction. So
Very good.
ostensibly I'm teaching the kids how to do it, but it's because I like it myself.
Yeah. I loved Legos growing up, and then it got to a point where they started coming out with the kits or the different models. Like that's cool, but it's almost they've gone so far beyond like the 2s, the 4s, and the 6s. It's crazy town.
It is crazy town.
There's so many different little components and parts.
Yeah, and now you can motorize them. You can put in, do stuff on your phone.
I feel a bit slighted. Like
Yeah.
I could build a block house, and that was about it, you know. And they had the green stippy land, and that
Well,
was
I'll
all.
tell you what I want to do though is when the grandkids start to work on fractions. Apparently, the way you teach fractions is by using Legos.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it makes a great deal of sense, and that's where I lost math
Yeah.
when I was a kid. Fractions, forget it.
So are you going to work with the grandkids and have them recreate the Medina Square in Legos? That'd be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool. But as in all thing Legos, what do you do with them when they're done?
Take them apart and start over?
Oh,
Or have them build a model of your house?
oh man, oh geez. No, not doing it.
That has to be one of your great joys is having the grandkids. What do they think of you as an author? Are they old enough? Any of them
Yeah.
have they read your books?
No, but my son is now teaching at Strongsville High School.
Really?
Yeah, and he came in the other day with a quote that sounds like something that I would have said 30 years ago. And I said, Brian, have you read the books? What do you think they're thinking about? So,
Yeah.
so things have changed. Things have not changed. It's nice that the guy that hired him was my principal at Copley. He's now the superintendent.
Oh, wow, okay.
The gal that's the HR director at Strongsville taught Spanish, was in my office when I taught German, so it's nice to know them.
Yeah.
The athletic director was a student of mine.
Oh my gosh.
So, it's great that he's got hooks and people know me.
Yeah.
And so they've been really nice to him. So
What does he teach?
he teaches special ed,
All right, cool.
and he's got some deal going where he's teaching the kids how to grow plants.
Neat.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
he's really excited about that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Dave, thank you so much. If people are interested in your books, where can they go to buy them?
Well, thanks for asking, Matt. Books are on sale at JK Gifts. They're on sale at the Wine Bar, H2.
Yeah.
And they're also on sale at the Medina County Visitors Bureau. Since the bookstore left,
Yeah,
thank goodness, retailers have given me a chance.
that's nice.
It
So
is, really.
can they also get them online?
Oh yeah, I'm an Amazon guy, so they're all over Amazon.
Okay.
So
So generally, if someone wants to buy one of your books and meet the author, just head to H2 on any given night, and you're likely to be there.
well, now that the COVID's over, yeah, it's a lot more likely. And now they're getting back to talking about building their patio in the back.
In the back, yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Well, Dave, thanks so much. I appreciate your time and learning a little bit more about you.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.